YouTube, it's your girl Zenobia Nicole, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be coming to y'all today with a different kind of video. I actually be telling y'all and giving y'all tips on how to grow healthy natural hair. So if you want to hear and you want those tips on how to get there, then stay tuned. See me looking down in my phone because I wrote notes so I can keep track, and I hope this helps my natural girls out there that's willing and wanting to grow long natural hair, and not just long but healthy natural hair. So keep on watching. First thing first, I want y'all to imagine a flower, and I want you to imagine your hair is a flower, and I want you to imagine all the things a flower needs to grow, and I want you to use that analogy throughout this entire video. So my first tip is making sure, in order for your flower to grow, you have to make sure what you're putting inside of your body is nourishing. Making sure you eating nourishing foods, because it's about what you put inside of your body, what also helps your hair grow, and a lot of people forget about that. So I want y'all to remember that it has something to do with your health. So if you constantly putting junk into your hair, junk into your body, your hair don't have any nourishment to grow off of. So you need to remember fruits, vegetables, and water. Drink plenty of water. Some people exercise. That's also a plus. I don't exercise personally. I probably should, but it all starts from within. So that brings me to my second tip, which is keeping a healthy scalp. Your scalp is where your hair grows from, so your scalp has to be healthy. So that means making sure your scalp is clean. That means making sure you don't have any product buildup. Shampooing your hair when you feel that you have product buildup, doing scalp massages, stimulating, helping stimulate that hair growth. Massages does help stimulate that hair growth. So you got to make sure, you keeping a healthy scalp, because, that's where your hair growth is. So that also brings me to my third tip, which is to deep condition your hair. I made a video about why you should deep condition. I also talked about my favorite deep conditioners that I use. Deep conditioning is very important during your natural hair growth. Our hair is naturally dry and it drinks moisture. That is just how natural hair is. That's just the way it is, sis. And if you haven't been deep conditioning, if you have been growing natural hair without deep conditioning, kudos to you, sis. But I seen a major difference and I seen a major change in my hair growth once I started deep conditioning my hair. So if you haven't seen that video about my deep conditioning, then I'll link that video in the description box below. But make sure you are deep conditioning your hair. And that brings me to my next tip. Being that you are natural, I know we have to detangle our hair, sis. And I know for some of us, it's turmoil. I like to detangle my hair during my deep conditioning process. I like this, I got that conditioner on there. It's giving me that slippage. I'm taking my time. That is the best time for me to detangle my hair. And to save your length, make sure you're not detangling on dry hair. That'll snap your hair. Making sure that you're finger detangling, saving them strands and being patient. Making sure that you know that when you are detangling, when your hair is wet, that's when your hair is at its weakest. So making sure that you're taking your time and not rushing. Like I said, your hair is a flower, so think of it as delicacy. You have to be delicate with your flower if you want it to grow. You can't be yanking that comb through and then you wondering why your hair not growing, because you breaking your hair off, sis. Like, you can't be doing it. So make sure you're detangling your hair properly. That brings me to my next tip. Moisturizing your hair. Moisture is key. Just like I just said previously, our hair, natural hair, is naturally dry. I'm sorry, sis, but it just is. It just is what it is. But making sure you properly moisturize your hair. So just slapping some olive oil on your hair, like, girl, I just put olive oil on my hair. It should be moisturized. No. Because that ain't gonna do nothing but sit on your hair. For most of us, that's all it's gonna do. Making sure that a lot of your products have water in them. So that means, when you buy a product, the very first ingredient is water. That's where we get our moisture from. Water moisturizes our hair. When you are moisturizing making sure that you are moisturizing your ends, focusing on your ends, because sis, your ends are the oldest part of your hair. If you want to retain your length, you have to moisturize the oldest part of your hair. You have to keep this in order to grow this out. So like, you gotta moisturize you gotta make sure your product is getting on them ends, sis, to make sure that you're retaining that length. If you want to retain your length, you gotta moisturize those ends, you gotta nourish those ends, you gotta babysit those ends, because your ends are precious, boo. They're doing the lock method, and if you don't know what that is, that's L.O.C. method, where you use a liquid for L, you use oil for O, you know, different kinds of oils. That can be extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, jojoba oil, so on and so forth. So whichever is your favorite oil, that's the O. And then you got your C, which is a cream. So you have like your butter creams, and you got your Shea Moisture creams. A cream is a little thicker than, you know, the L, because your L don't always have to be a water. It can be a leave-in, you know. Then I even like to throw a little extra in there and throw an S at the end, so L.O.C.S, and the S is for sealant. So all I'm doing is that I'm sealing in that moisture. I'm taking something a little heavier than the cream and the leave-in and sealing in that moisture. And what I like to use is Blue Magic Grease. I like to take that and I like to just seal in all that moisture. And making sure you moisturizing your hair properly is important. It'll grow your hair from teeny weeny fro to a Shaka Khan fro. So like, you just have to moisturize your hair properly, and knowing when to moisturize your hair is very important. So that leads me to my next side tip: making sure you are staying consistent. Make sure that once you find that cream, once you find that leave-in that works for you and your hair, because what works for my hair might not work for your hair. Cause stay consistent to your regimen. If you shampooing your hair every week on a Wednesday, keep doing it. If you moisturizing your hair with certain products every week, continue to keep doing it. You will see a change in your hair growth. And it also brings me to my next tip: trying to reduce as much heat as possible. It's okay to use heat on your natural hair. I'm not saying that you can't use heat on your natural hair. If you use heat, if you're someone that always wants to get their hair straightened, making sure that you may be only doing maybe one, no more than 2 passes when you're going down, you know, with the flat iron. Also making sure you're using a heat protectant. That's important. Making sure you do a protein treatment before you do get your hair straight. That's important. Making sure that your hair can still grow while you're adding heat to your hair, because you don't want to get heat damage. Because once you get heat damage, you're gonna have to clip that off, because it ain't gonna grow. It's gonna grow from your roots, but your end's gonna be jacked up. So making sure that you take those precautionary steps when you are adding heat to your hair. Also doing a necessary strand test, making sure your hair is actually healthy before you add heat to your hair. And a way that you can know if your hair is healthy: if you take a strand of your hair or a string of your hair out of your hair right now, and if you can stretch it and it snaps immediately, your hair is not healthy enough, sis. You need to wait before you put some heat on your hair. I'm sorry, I waited 2 years before I put heat on my hair. But if it stretches a little bit before it snaps, that means it's healthy enough. But if it snaps immediately as soon as you stretch that hair, it's not healthy enough. So you need to be aware of the health of your hair before you're adding heat to your hair. That's going to be very important. Another tip of mine is clipping your ends only when necessary. I know as growing up, we always heard supposed to clip your ends every so many weeks to see hair grow. No, sis, because at this point you're cutting your length off, and that's a no-no. The only time you need to clip your ends if you see split ends, of course. If you have those single strand knots, because you know us naturals, we tend to get those. Instead of yanking them out, don't yank them. Make sure you're snipping those single strand knots. Another way to know when to clip your ends: if you're twisting your hair, right? Follow me, right? If you're twisting your hair and you see a little string, or when you finger coil it at the end and it's feeling a little bit more stringy than usual, it's time to clip your ends. And when you're clipping your ends, making sure that you use shears, hair shears, and not scissors. There's a difference. Scissors are not made for clipping hair. Scissors will actually damage your growth pattern if you clip it with scissors. Shears are made to clip hair, so you don't want to clip ends with regular scissors. the more you moisturize your hair, the less you'll have to clip your hair, because moisture helps prevent split ends and breakage and XYZ. It'll eliminate the reasons why you feel like you need to clip your ends. Also, if you're not sure when to clip your ends, or you're not sure how to clip your ends, just go get them professionally did. Someone with a professional cosmetology license will know how to clip your ends and will know when to clip your ends. It's not necessary to clip your ends every 6 weeks. You might be clipping off the length that you want. So it's not, that's just not necessary. So we gonna only clip our ends when necessary, okay? All right, let's move on. So, reducing breakage. This is another one. Reduce as much breakage as you can. Like I said before, making sure you're not detangling when your hair is dry. Also, I know all my sisters like the slick back ponytails and all that. Making sure that you are not pulling your hair back too tight, because now you're pulling on your edges and you're pulling on your scalp too hard. It's causing unnecessary tension. It can have a reverse on your hair growth. So wearing low manipulation styles will help reduce breakage. I'm not talking about your box braids and your sew-ins, sis. I'm sorry, and I know I'm gonna get bashed for it, but those are styles that are sometimes pulled too tight on our hair. Low manipulation is like wearing a bun and you keeping it in for a week. You're not manipulating your hair on a daily basis. Or low manipulation styles also helps that hand and hair sensation, because hand and hair sensation will break your hair off. And trust me, I know, I done been through it, and it's a habit. You know, you take one curl and you sit back and you just like, I love my curls, but it's breaking your hair off and it's drying your hair out, and it's just don't do it. Let's bring me to the other tip, where if you are wearing your sew-ins and your weaves and all that, there's nothing wrong with that, nothing at all. But make sure you allow your hair to breathe. You know, your flower can't grow if it ain't getting enough sunlight, sis. You know, our hair loves vitamin D. We need that vitamin D, you know what I'm saying? Making sure you giving breaks in between, giving it maybe at least five to 6 days before you get your next sew-in, so your hair can get that vitamin D that it needs. Because if you got it covered up all the time, it can't get that sunlight that it needs. They gonna have to let it breathe, sis. You're gonna have to let it breathe. Let it fro, let it fro. Next tip. Making sure you are being patient. I know, patience is a virtue. A lot of us are very impatient out here in this fast moving world, but if you want your hair to grow, just be patient. Just be patient. Have patience. It's not gonna grow overnight. You're not gonna wake up and you're gonna be Rapunzel the next day. You gotta, like I said, staying consistent, and all this, it all ties in with each other. You know, and patient also includes every time you do your hair, you're doing a length check. That's not being patient. You kind of just, almost like a prayer. Once you pray and you send it up, you don't worry about it no more. So that's just like being patient with your hair. Once you moisturize and doing your regimen and going about your business, just set it and forget it. And before you know it, you're going to wake up and your hair going to be down your back. So don't always keep up with your length. So that also brings me to my next tip. Learn to listen to your hair. And what I mean by that is learning to know what your hair needs when it needs it. So it's like, when do you do this and when do you do this? It's not a set time per se, but it's just all about listening to your hair. Your hair will let us know, just like a flower. If you haven't watered your flower in a couple of days, your flower gonna droop. So same with your hair. If you don't moisturize your hair in due time, you will probably have to moisturize it at some point. So knowing when you have to moisturize your hair, knowing when you have to do a protein treatment, knowing when you need to shampoo it, knowing when you need to take them braids down from under that wig, sis. Just knowing, so that way that way you can have your hair to flourish. Another thing I want to tell y'all, length does not equal health. Just because your hair is long, that does not mean your hair is healthy. I hear it all the time, and I want y'all to get that thought out of y'all head. I want y'all to realize that long hair is not always healthy. So healthy hair is what you want. That's how you get growing hair. If it's not healthy, it's not gonna grow. So I just want to put that in y'all mind. And my last tip of the night or of the day or wherever that time of the day it is in your town, loving your hair. If you don't love your hair, you can't take care of it. You're not gonna know what it needs. You're not gonna put the time and effort into it. You're not gonna give it that TLC that it need, that tender love and care. Everybody be like, oh, I wish my hair grow that long. It can grow that long, and it will grow that long if you give it some TLC. Embracing your natural hair, rocking it like you own it. You know what I'm saying? Because I see a lot of people say, you know, I can't rock my natural hair. It's nappy. It's la. Girl, I'm happy to be nappy. So embrace your natural hair. When your hair comes out of the teeny weeny fro, but it ain't quite long enough to do too many styles, but it's just long enough to do just a puff. Yeah, embrace that, sis. Cause if you can't embrace it, then you can't get to the length you want. So I'm not here to discourage anyone. I'm not trying to discourage anyone, but what I am saying is, even if you gotta go out looking like Miss Silly and Felicia, sis, rock it, embrace it, love it. Because it's yours. It was given to you. It's your flower. And this brings me to the end of my video. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. And peace. I'll see you next time.